I can't tell you how many people were telling us they were having to turn down jobs because they couldn't find people to join their teams as installers and technicians. And so my team got together with several organizations and we pulled together what we call the Resideo Academy College Partnership Program. And the mission of this program is to empower the next generation of the professional and make a way so that students joining a technical program can see there are places for them in this industry. Yep. There are places, no matter if you're a young woman or a young man, there are places for you in this industry, and we welcome you. And we're looking for your expertise. You might be 21 years old, but you have such incredible knowledge, and we can't wait to have you join our industry.
And we all know that we have a shortage of technicians and even further, like qualified technicians. So that's why we talk about training a lot. Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like this video. And if you're listening to this on the audio over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other platform, please leave a review. And that way, that's all free and it helps support the show and helps it get out to more people. And of course, I'm your host, Adrian Garcia. I am an HVAC technician, licensed contractor here in Texas, and I've been doing this about 18 years. And we just have a lot of good conversations with good people in different trades now, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. I've had some others in like auto mechanics, anything like that. You bring them on, have a good conversation, and hopefully get more trade awareness out there. So I appreciate everybody who's watched or listened, all the support and making this podcast successful and what it is now. I also want to thank the sponsors of the show, like Jobber, which is a CRM that we use to run our business, which is invoicing, quoting, scheduling jobs, maintenance contracts. It makes it so easy, and all our technicians on our team usually pick it up relatively quickly. I just have to show them what it is and they are able to get out there and start, invoicing everything that needs to be done. I can also update prices, client list, everything remotely, and they have it there on their phone, tablet, or laptop. It's been great running our business with Jobber now. And if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure to check the link down below, getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. I also want to thank Vito Pro Pack, the best quality bags that money can buy, literally. If you invest in these bags, as I did during the whole pandemic, I ripped so many backpacks and tool pouches that I finally, I found Vito. I think there were some YouTube videos, tried them out. I did the buy one, get one, which that's going on right now. If you guys ever want to buy or try Vito Pro Pack, spring promotion is the best time of year by far. And I still have all of those bags from like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where it's backpacks. Their MB lineup was really good for quick service bags, wheelers, and like all sorts of specialty bags now. So if you guys are interested, please check out Vito Pro Pack. I use nothing but that now, and I help design some of them now, and they always take feedback, and they have a lot of cool stuff that they're coming out with now. So check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com to learn more. And the podcast is also brought to you by Local. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, and they can help you with your HVAC digital marketing so that you can dominate your local service areas with proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need for your business. So reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. So now welcome to this week's episode. We have Jamie from Resideo, and we sat down at their AHR booth over in Orlando, Florida. Got to talk about training and, what they do and how important it is for, the next generation to get in here and get properly trained up. And if you're an existing technician out in the field, getting up to date on everything, because we have nothing but electronic equipment going in. So I deal with refrigeration and, RTUs on the smaller light commercial side of things. And for the longest time, I never saw any. I only saw mechanical up until a couple years ago. We started putting in, like with Heatcraft, it's intelligent. We also do the Russell that has, man, I forget the name of their board. They have their electronic equipment, and we deal with sensors and transducers now and so many other things, boards, motherboards, stuff like that, to where if you're not properly trained, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't know, obviously you got to know the refrigeration cycle. It's always going to be prominent. That's the main thing you got to check for. But when I was, in school, trade school, at my college, they taught us and they drilled into us electrical first. Check everything electrical. Like 90% of your problem is probably there. And you guys that are out in the field or been there for even a year or two, you've probably seen it. It's a capacitor, it's a contactor, it's a short somewhere. You lose power somewhere. It's just usually something simple. And then you get into, okay, we have a failed motor, a failed compressor, and then figuring out what happened there. There's always going to be, a problem to solve. But like I said, electrical first. And then now we have so much electronic that you got to go through proper procedures. You got to go through the cycle, see where it's not doing what it's supposed to. And for the only thing that changes now is you got to make sure you know all your sensors, all your, like I said, transducers, making sure those are reading correctly and telling the board what to do, because that is usually how that works. Everything is like an input for the boards, and then the board will determine, is it going to go into defrost? Is it going to turn on? Is it going to cycle off? I've had issues where the fan relays don't work on the boards, or it's not sending proper signal to the electronic expansion valve. There's so many other things that you have to look out for now, and most of it does come with experience. So I've scratched my head plenty of times where I've never seen this before. I've never, dealt with it, and it takes me a little bit longer, but at least I know for the next time. The other thing is you can just get proper training, read manuals, talk to the manufacturer, and you can figure out how their equipment works and what to look for. And I think in the past, what has separated the everyday, technician that just wants to get out of work and not exceed, to a technician that is climbing the ladder quickly, being lead technician or supervisor or running their own business. The difference was always that they learned more after work, during their free time, all of that stuff, so that they could get ahead. That was something that I always took from my dad, because when he was switching into food service industry and doing, the fryers, steamers, all that kind of stuff that he works on, I was like in high school at the time, and he went to so many trainings. He was always at home reading all the books, manuals, and he just became like the biggest expert in our area for that line of work. And he put in all the time and effort in his own free time. He was gone on the weekends. He was gone for weeks, sometimes doing in-person training. Everything now is much easier to, it's more accessible, where you can go on YouTube videos, or you can do online seminars, virtual trainings. It's so much easier to get ahead now. And I think it's super important that you guys, before it was how you got ahead, I think now it's how you stay relevant. It's how you keep your job. It's how you get a raise. It's how you get a better job. There's many different ways to go about it, but being up to date, learning as much as you can, and just being better every day. That's something that I've always said. Just always be better. Tomorrow, you're going to be a much better tech than you were today. And you're not going to see the difference right away, but like in a year, 2 years, you're going to be a much better technician if you take the time to better yourself. I can just, attest from my own experience. Like I said, I was always like that. And I ended up taking a real big turn in my career after I took it serious. And, the technician that I am today is a big difference from even 5 to 10 years ago, right? When I started, I always say that I wanted to get in and out. It was just a job. I wasn't in love with it at the time, to where now I don't feel like I work too much. It is, I get enjoyment out of my job, enjoyment of that reward factor of fixing something, and being one of the biggest rewards or best feelings is when you can fix something that other technicians or other companies could not figure out. And why? Because you took the time to be prepared for those kinds of jobs, because you read manuals, you studied on your own time, looked up YouTube videos, not knowing something is bothering you, and you went and learned something that you didn't know or that gave you problems. Unfortunately, those are the little things that separate you, right? Just, learning more. I did forget to mention that Resideo is a sponsor of the podcast now. And if you don't know about them, please go check out. I'll leave a link down below at resideo.com. They showed me around their booth. They have all these new thermostats and stuff like that. They deal with a lot of smart home products, and they put it together in their Resideo app, and you can control security systems, your Honeywell home thermostats and all accessories, and also First Alert, which is like the carbon monoxide alarms, smoke alarms, and all that kind of stuff. And it all works together into this smart home environment. And if you guys, like I said, want to learn more about them, they have a lot of equipment, a lot of accessories, a lot of different things that work together. Their whole thing is, making a safer, smarter home. So thanks to Resideo for sponsoring today's episode in particular and being a supporter of the podcast. That's what we talk about in today's video: training, keeping up to date, and the next generation. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
Jamie, welcome to the show. We're here at the Resideo booth at the AHR Expo. Can you give me a quick summary of what you guys do and kind of offer?
Sure. Thanks for having me. So great to meet you. We're live at AHR and Resideo. You might know us best for the brands that we go to market with. So we are a global leader in home comfort and fire and life safety products. We go to market with the brands Honeywell Home and First Alert.
So you guys deal with a lot of, obviously HVAC technicians, things like that. How important do you think it is to have a qualified technician that's up to date on training?
So important. Technology changes just every minute. And to have a technician who is up to date on the latest and greatest technology, up to date on what products and solutions can be installed in their customers' homes, will help keep them relevant in their marketplace and help keep them on the forefront and earning more business.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Staying relevant, because and we deal with it a lot when we talk to older technicians.
Yeah.
Stubborn in some ways. They don't want to embrace the new technology, things like that. But realistically, it's just all headed that way. I work in, like a commercial application where I used to deal with a lot of mechanical stuff, where now every system I open up, there's a board.
Yeah.
There's electronic parts. It's going away from a lot of the mechanical stuff to strictly electronic. And if you're not trained on it, you don't know what to do. Basically, right?
And you have to think about the end user customer too. What do your customers want?
Sure.
We might not be comfortable with that particular piece of technology, but what if our customer is? So I think it behooves us to understand and learn about what our customers really want to make sure that we can deliver that, because then they're going to come back to us as the trusted expert and not go to the other guy.
Exactly. I think, like you said, can't be left behind, and customers. And this goes for everybody, right? Like, the technician has to be up to date, and the customers are embracing new technology to where they have those smart thermostats, they have a smart home basically, and they want all the bells and whistles. And you gotta you got to offer it and you got to be able to work on it and service it and give them whatever you can. And, if you don't offer it, you don't, do that for your customer, the next business or the next guy will. And like you said, you don't want to lose business. You want to make money. That's what we're all in for. So you can't get left behind. I had another note of like how technology has changed the way professionals need to be trained. So I'm just going to give a little context to that because for me, I've been in this 18 years. I kind of learned a lot of it on my own. I did go to school first, but I had to learn more after work, right? Like in the evenings, on the weekends, that's when I had to do a lot of that. Now you still have to do that because everything's changing. Like I said, to electronics, you got to know how to program things. You got to know how to not misdiagnose a faulty electronic part when it could be something completely different, something super simple. So I think the technology now really, it drives like what kind of technician or what they need to do as far as training. Are you seeing that too?
Absolutely. So think about, how do you like to consume information?
I was going to make a point. My parents and my grandparents are using like iPhones and texting and all that kind of stuff.
It's changing. Even, older generations are starting to consume things in a mobile environment on a tablet. But even think about YouTube and how prolific YouTube has been. You can learn how to wire a complete system on YouTube, on video, in just a matter of hours. I think the best advice I could give someone is to stay curious. And there are ways to find information and consume that information in the modality that makes the most sense to you. Take a look at TikTok and what TikTok has done in bite-sized, short amounts of time. You can get information across. And yes, attention spans are changing and people are starting to consume that bite-sized information. But look at how much information is out there.
I hate to admit it, but I've learned quite a bit on those bite-sized types of content, right? TikTok, there's Instagram, even YouTube has gotten into it to where they're kind of scrolling through and you get news or whatever straight to your phone. You get your DIY projects. You can look up something's not working in your household. You can look up a video on any platform now and you can teach yourself a lot by watching the video. And that was going to go into my next question about how do we attract the younger generation of blue collar workers and getting them into the trade.
That's such a great question. So I lead Resideo Academy, which is the technical training offering for Resideo. So we go to market with Honeywell Home and First Alert products. And we believe that every one of our professional customers, no matter where you are in the industry, you deserve technical training. And a couple of years ago, some of our customers had approached us and said that they were having some labor challenges. They were having difficulty finding skilled individuals to join their organizations. I can't tell you how many people were telling us they were having to turn down jobs because they couldn't find people to join their teams as installers and technicians. And so my team got together with several organizations and we pulled together what we call the Resideo Academy College Partnership Program. And the mission of this program is to empower the next generation of the professional and make a way so that students joining a technical program can see there are places for them in this industry. There are places, no matter if you're a young woman or a young man, there are places for you in this industry and we welcome you and we're looking for your expertise. You might be 21 years old, but you have such incredible knowledge and we can't wait to have you join our industry.
And we all know that we have a shortage of technicians and even further, like qualified technicians. So that's why we talk about training a lot.
I also want to thank Diversitech. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. More than likely, you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com. And it's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC. I've gotten a lot of compliments on these line set penetration covers. They're basically, when you get an install done, you have the line set coming out the house or whatever a wall you came out of, you normally have to put like foam spray or, you know, cover it up somehow. Eric's has these covers that just look professional, and I like the form factor. I've seen others and they're a little bit too bulky. You know, this one, it just gives you what you need. They have two different models. If you need a slimmer one, they have that too. And what I really like is they finally have now one for existing line sets. Now it's two pieces, and you kind of just put them together over the line set and then mount it and drill it in. And it's a good selling point to make an existing install look better. I've gotten so many compliments, like I said. So make sure you go over to ericsmfg.com and check them out.
And we see it firsthand out in the field where, you know, like you said, it's hard to find good help, hard to find good technicians, fill in those spots.
Yeah.
We see it too where, you know, like I said, at our business, we have myself, other guys, my dad, who love to learn. Like you said earlier, stay curious, right? Just keep learning. And that does, you know, it does so much for us to where, you know, miles away, we have customers 5 hours away, 6 hours away. Can you please come by? Because there is such a need for good technicians in so many areas. And that's why if I ever talk to a younger person about getting into this trade, I mean, we need technicians everywhere. We need you to get trained up, you know, stay up to date, and get in the field. How do you think we fix that? Like, how do we appeal to that generation?
We have to be involved. If we want to see a change, we need to be involved. I was having a conversation with some folks here on the show floor at AHR just a little bit ago about that very same thing. And they were mentioning how there is a shortage of skilled labor. And I asked the question and said, well, how are you helping to overcome that? I asked just, you know, are you involved with your state heating and cooling association? And they said no.
Yeah.
And it might seem out of touch or out of date, but that's an organization that exists right now. And I bet they would be willing to to accept you with open arms. So excited to have you join. Another quick thing that can be done very easily, call up your local technical program, your technical college program. They might be down the road from you. Offer to be a mentor.
Yeah.
You don't have to volunteer more than just a couple of hours a year, but stop by for an afternoon. They would love to hear about your experience as a business owner, as someone who is looking to hire new talent, and give them some exposure to what's awaiting them in terms of their career when they join the industry. 2 really quick things that can be done this week.
Yeah. So like what I've always discussed with a lot of technicians, because like now I am seeing a change. I am seeing a lot of younger people coming into the trade, excited to come into the trade. I just saw like, you know, a bunch of like 19-year-olds that are like first year in the trade. They're super gung-ho, and that's great to see. But, you know, that we need more mentors, because like you mentioned about, you know, sharing experiences and being a business owner and all that kind of stuff. I went to a community college that had HVAC as a option for me to major in, right? So when I went there, I didn't know what to expect, but I had a couple of teachers, and a couple of them, half of them worked for the school. So we got that side of it. They gave us their stories. They gave us their experience. And then the other 2 there owned their own company and taught at the school. So, you know, great mentors right there. And they would give us their experience about their calls throughout the week, about how they ran their business, you know, all the ins and outs of an HVAC business. And it was really cool to hear, not just being in the textbook, not just trying to learn something, like being taught there in the classroom. Like we learned from these like those are mentors. Like they, you know, give you advice, they give you their life experience, and that's what's great. And just like we're lacking qualified technicians, I think we need more mentors to help out our next generation.
Very well said.
Speaking of generations, we have basically a new versus old generation where, you know, somebody like I'm getting up there too. I'm almost 20 years in, right? And now I'm seeing kids. And I just had this conversation with somebody last night. Like they're starting to hire people that were born when they graduated high school. Like there's that overlap now. I'm starting to feel that old too. There's different priorities now as well. Like I mentioned earlier, how do we get younger kids? How do we make it appealing for the younger kids? I think everybody now kind of has an idea of what they want, and I get the same answers over and over. Like they want free time. They want to get paid for their hours or their overtime. They want to prioritize certain things. And what have you seen? For it could be old versus new or just a new generation. What have you seen that they are looking for in jobs now?
So one of the, I could say ditto to everything you just said. One of the things that we've noticed in the last couple of years is young adults really want to do meaningful work. They want something that is going to make an impact. There are some that are very environmentally conscious who want to see that there are ways to give homeowners ways to save energy, focused on green technology. There are some who want to see that they can improve others' lives. If you can find that emotional connection, that is the way that I think is really beneficial for us. One of the things that we're trying to help our college partners is give them the tools to start to outreach into their communities, so that in 5 or 10 years, we don't have to have conversations about how cool would it be if you all joined the trades. We don't have to have conversations because they're already here. They already know in middle school or junior high, I want to be an HVAC technician. I want to be a part of that company over there.
So that was my whole issue is growing up, I never knew about the trades. I never knew this was an option. And I can't see myself doing anything else. And I had a dad that was in the trades. He was an electrician, and it still never dawned on me because you're told, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be something, go to college, and do a business degree, like all this other stuff. Which I'm not saying we don't need that, but I didn't know the option of the trade. So like a person like me, because everybody's different. Not everybody can do the whole, bachelor degree, full master's, all the schooling. And personally, I couldn't sit still. Like I like traveling. I like fixing things. I like the reward factor of like helping a customer. And I see something different every day. So that appealed to me, but I didn't know about this until my 20s, right? If I had gotten a head start, I would have loved that. So I really appreciate the schools out there that are doing those trade programs. I've seen that. I've interviewed people that have been through that, and I was like, I would have loved that in high school.
We have a partnership, jumping off of that, we have a partnership with a college in the Midwest, and they invited us to come to an outreach day that they were doing to 6th through 8th grade students coming in that are part of STEM programs, to give them some exposure to the trades programs at this college. So these students get to come in and look at the welding program. They get to understand a little bit about their automotive repair program, and then they get to learn about their HVAC program. So we brought in a dollhouse, and we put on a couple of thermostats, some sensors, zone panel, a few dampers, wired it up. It was fully functioning, and we gave those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders about an hour of some hands-on experience with some of these products and how they work. And the coolest part was we got to have a little Q&A session at the end. And we were able to talk with them about, hey, our office building's actually not too far from here. And the people who are conceptualizing building the thermostats that are on that dollhouse, they work right around the corner. So there's so many avenues and places in the HVAC industry for young adults. And it's so fun to see their eyes open up to the potential career path that's in front of them.
It's because if you get into the trades, it can be any trade. Like I'm partial to HVAC because that's what I love doing. But construction, electrician, plumbers, like you get to build something. You get to see how things work, make things work, fix things, build buildings like this that we're in right now, this huge expo. And, a lot of the country relies on us to be out there and doing our job.
I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business. Even though we only do commercial, word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, you know, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much, these are working really good, stop spending your money here, put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial, and you can check it out for yourself.
So I know I touched on this a little bit, but do you think the trades are still a tougher choice right now for most people that are, you know, steered towards college? Like, do you think it's still a tougher choice to pick trades over like a college?
I think there's a few ways why that's a tough choice. Obviously, if your parents are pressuring you to go get a 4-year degree, that's some pressure there. But also, we have to give these kids and these young high schoolers and teenagers exposure to what's possible. Rewind in my career, I had no idea you could go to a technical college because I grew up in a family system where we went and we got 4-year degrees. Now I'll tell you, I have the college debt to prove it.
Oh yeah.
That was quite intense paying that off. But if I had known that I could go into a career where I could use my hands, get my hands on some technology, I might have made a different choice. And I think it's up to us now to make sure that young students now know that there is another path, and they can make a great career for themselves by joining these industries.
I tell people all the time that this trade, this industry is whatever you make of it.
Yeah.
So there's some people that get into it and, you know, they're not really into it and they might struggle. But at the end of the day, they're like, it's needed. Like, I've never not had work. I've never not been needed. And I work for myself. Like I can go out and get customers like if I need to. And during that whole pandemic, all that, I only took a few days off and I went right back to work. Like, restaurants were still open, hospitals. And the thing that's particular, I mean, it's for everything, like electricians, plumbing, like it's in every building. HVAC and refrigeration is in every building. You walk into a supermarket, you walk into a convenience store, the air conditioning in this building right here with tons of people here needs to be working, you know, very well. It's everywhere. So if you think about it, there's work everywhere. We used to be worried about competition, like when we started our business and stuff like that. But to be honest, we've always been busy. We've been open 18 years and there's scary times, but that's with anything. But we've never had to close up our business. We've never had to shut down. We've never been worried about getting, you know, a paycheck or anything like that. So I just kind of want to harp on that because in this industry, like I said, there's always work. And then you can do so much. I know you mentioned a little bit, like you never knew, you know, being in this trade, getting your hands dirty, working on things, or, you know, having these options. Because I'm being particular to HVAC. You can be a salesperson, you can be a technician, you can work industrial, commercial, residential. You can be in the manufacturing side. You can
work for a builder. You can work for an OEM. Yes.
It's like endless.
Yes.
I never knew about that. And now that I know so much more, I'm more interested in seeing more of the trades. And I just want younger people to know about it, because I feel like nobody knows until you're like in your 20s or late 20s, or you're too old for it. Not too old, but you're older, and then you got to get into it.
And that's where we have to take some personal responsibility. If we want to see more young people join our industry, we've got to do some work and step up to the plate and make sure that we're having those conversations and not sitting on the sidelines. Become a mentor. Call up your state heating and cooling association. Call that technical college. Let's get the word out there.
How important are good mentors?
Speaking from my own personal experience, I've had a couple of mentors in my life, some in the HVACR field and some in adjacent industries. And, you know, they have helped me think through and process different career moves and strategic goals I've had. And I wouldn't be sitting here with you today had it not been for some conversations with some mentors. And I'm at a place personally where I would love to give back and make sure that there is visibility, and I'm making sure to extend that hand to the next generation. And I can't speak highly enough of mentors and what they can do for us.
And I think it's very important because as much as I have learned on my own, when I started in this trade, there was people that gave me their tips and tricks, kind of told me to calm down, because, getting into the trades, it is a lot of work. It's labor intensive. You got to think a lot. You have challenges every day, but with a good mentor or, several mentors, they can kind of give you that advice and that experience because they've been in it 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And like I said, I'm getting up there now. At this point, I want to be able to help the next guy so that they don't have to deal with stuff that I dealt with. And I think it's important.
And you learned why to do or not to do something. You got firsthand experience.
The hard way.
Yes. And now you get to turn around and say the same thing to someone else and tell them.
And it's so satisfying. So there's been a whole turnaround because before, and I saw it a lot locally. And I mentioned earlier, competition. We see each other as competition. I never did. I don't like that. So if I can help somebody else out, I think that goes a long way. And it's satisfactory to me because they don't have to go through that headache. It saves them. And, I always thank my mentors to help me out, or if they were a phone call away and saved me from making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
That was always the best. So I would love, to do that or continue to do that for other people and other kids in this trade.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anybody in this trade?
Anyone currently in this trade? Mm-hmm. Stay curious.
I love that.
Technology is changing every moment. Just being here at AHR, there's so many new trends for us to take a look at this year. The Internet of Things and connected technology, it is not going away. So stay curious. That's the best advice I have for somebody in this industry.
It's technology is everywhere because when you're buying a computer, you're buying a phone, it changes every year. And that's the same thing with this trade. If you don't stay up to date, if you don't get with the times, you're going to get left behind. That's just how I see it.
You got it.
So I appreciate you taking the time here in the Resideo booth. And thanks again.
Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I appreciate Resideo for making that happen. And if you want to learn more about them, check out the link down below and check out all the products that they have for home systems as far as security, alarms, and the thermostats and HVAC systems that they interconnect with on their app. And check out their Resideo Academy and training. That's something that I wasn't aware of until we sat down and talked on this podcast. And it's really cool to see that they're helping out the next generation of tradespeople. And also really quick, if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, let me know down below and let me know what other companies you would like to have on the show. I do have a few lined up that are pretty big manufacturers and companies and people that I think would be very interesting on the show. A lot that I'm very excited for. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this different kind of episode, educational type of content. So just let me know in the comments or hit me up and give me your feedback. I always appreciate if you enjoy any of these episodes or, the podcast as a whole. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and we'll see you guys next time.